Hello, hello. Today is March 11th, 2021. It's time for our bi-weekly treat with Norm Winski. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me on. Okay, we're going to review the last couple of weeks, some of the things that the important planetary astrological events that have happened here the last couple of weeks, and then show you what's coming up. So if you take a screenshot of this page here at the top of this page, these are the events I'm going to be reviewing. That'll probably help you. Jupiter on the AC is after the close, so if it says that, that's overnight. We'll be looking at possibly do a trade on the next day's open. And there you go. So we have Jupiter on the night of the 25th. Jupiter was 120 degrees to the moon's north node. What's the moon's north node? As the moon goes around the Earth, it crosses the ecliptic. That's the path that the planets travel around the sun, and that intersection point moves backwards through the zodiac in an 18.6-year cycle. Very important cycle. Many things are on an 18 and 19-year cycle. So that's one of the top cycles of all cycles. Anyway, so Jupiter is making a 120-degree angle to that point. That's your Jupiter's in Aquarius, so that would affect copper. And because the moon's north node has to do with the moon, that's silver. And the stocks or the big basket, everything, they work for everything. They respond to just about anything. So then we have the full moon, the night of the 26th, that was the weekend. And Virgo, we round up the usual suspects for the moon. And then also because it's in Virgo, we're going to emphasize soybeans. And then we have the U.S. chart. That's where the planets were on the 4th of July, 1776. Look at when the planets line up with those planets. And we have that, a U.S. point there on the weekend of the 26th. Then Monday night, the 1st, we had Uranus 90 degrees again to the moon's north node. Oh, that was for the U.S. moon's north node. Sorry about that. So another U.S. point. And then the morning of the 3rd, that's one of my top points, is when the planets get to zero latitude, and Mercury did that the morning of the 3rd. And then we had the night of the 5th, that was the weekend. We had another Mercury point, and then Mercury has to do with grains, and also stocks, of course. And then the weekend of the 5th, we also had Jupiter to the U.S. moon, another U.S. point, so we do U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. And then the night of the 8th, we had, it was Monday night, we had Saturn line up with the U.S., and again, U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollars. So now, here we go. Here's the chart. Here's our first point. There's copper. We were one day off the top there, and the big copper rally, huge copper rally. It's the highest copper has been in about, I think, 8 or 9 years. And we missed the top by one day. We're still within almost just about in range of the top bar. So that was good. Green is good. You see red, that's a miss. Yellow, we didn't do it. Here's corn. Corn kind of popped up into the opening with the moon over the weekend of the 26th, into the opening of Monday the 1st. And so that was the top, and if you sold there, you made money. And then our Mercury point on the 3rd, right there, that was close in price, and one day ahead of the low the next day. Then we rallied up to our next Mercury point, and that was a high, so that corn was good. Here's your gold. Gold did not work. We only had the moon, and the gold just kept going down, so that's a miss. Silver did the same thing. There's a miss. And let's see, like the corn, the beans popped up for the opening of the 1st of March. And then that was a little top. Then they went kind of sideways. And then they rallied up into our next Mercury point. Well, the first Mercury point was sideways. So he did nothing. And then he rallied into the second Mercury point, and that was a nice top there on beans. Here's your S&P. We got 8 points for the S&P. First 4 were good. Moon, the Mercury, U.S. point, and the second Mercury point were all. Let's see, we had a couple U.S. points, and then the second part was not so good, so we went about 50-50 on the S&P. Here's the T-bonds. We had about 5 points for the bonds. I had a double there for the moon, and that was a nice top on the bonds, and they went sideways for a day or two. Then for our second point, and then we had a cluster there for the weekend of the 5th and into the, the weekend of the 5th and into the 8th. And that was a nice low there on the bonds. So that was pretty good. And the wheat, we went up, the wheat, we had a low. We were one day before a low on the wheat. And then it popped up for another high here on the 5th. And then a second high on the 8th. So those were all good. Here's a dollar was very good. We rallied into for a little short-term top there for a day or two. And that little cluster there with 3 points. And then we rallied again, and we had the day before the high and the high day later on over the 5th to the 8th of the month for the high. That was the high of the month. Here's a currencies dance to the moon. So there's your Aussie dollar went down and made a little short-term low on the that would be the new moon. And then we have the pound did pretty much the same thing, and so did the Canadian dollar. And there's your euro did not want to do the dance, so it just kept going, so that's a miss. So there we go. We got, count up the green arrows, red arrows, 26 winners, 7 misses out of 33. That's 78.79%. Here I showed you before my planetary index model. That's the blue line. I do a month in advance, map out the whole month. There's February. There's your trading days of the month for February. And then I overlay the actual prices, S&P 500 10-minute bars on top, and you can see that worked out pretty well. Here's a little day trading, S&P E-mini. Here's the interesting thing that happened yesterday. Once a month, the moon lines up with Jupiter. You can see there's the moon. It says conjunct. That's the same degree of longitude as Jupiter. There's a symbol for Jupiter. That's my computer program spit that out at 12:59 p.m. yesterday. You can see what happened. We rallied into 12:59. Now we'll rally there, and then within 3 minutes, it dropped about 7 handles. Make that 14 handles for about $700 in 3 minutes. That was pretty interesting. Here's what we have coming up this weekend, the 12th weekend. New moon in Pisces. We round up the usual suspects. Plus, now we're running a special on. Is that a new moon or a full moon? It's, I'm in trouble. Full moon, right? Full moon. We're going for the full moon. That was a mistake. That's a full moon in Pisces, right? Full moon. That's a new moon. Right? Oh boy, am I in trouble. Alright. New moon. Yeah, that's right. New moon's right. Sorry about that. So anyway, it's in Pisces, that's oil. You got your greens, your precious metals of oil. And then Mercury, aphelion. That's from the Greek. Helios, sun in Greek, the planets go around the sun in elliptical fashion, and so there's a point where they're the closest and a point where they're the farthest. Aphelion is the farthest, and again, Mercury is your grains and stocks. So, and also because it has to do with the sun, it's also gold. There we go. Here's another forecast model I have. It's called fractals. What is a fractal? Fractals are repeating pattern, different levels of order. Elliott wave is a fractal system. A pine tree is a fractal item because the branches look like the big tree and they have the same pattern. So we take a portion of the year and we extrapolate out the year. And these are the blue bars I did in February. They said the bonds were going down, down, down. And so far that's what they've been doing pretty much. You have little zigzags here. Do for a little bounce here in the middle of March, probably into the moon here. We got coming up this weekend. And then probably more down coming. So if you want to see the rest of that, you have to give me a call. And speaking of give me a call, here we go. Here's my contact information. I'm in beautiful sunny Naples, Florida, 239-594-3939. Copy and paste my email if you would please, or call me on Skype and Winski_1. And looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff.
Norm, thanks so much. You've been month after month consistent around 80%, which as anyone can tell you is quite remarkable. So thanks for everything. You have a big change in trend in stocks coming up. My stuff
and the
kind
stock
of...
market is, we look for extremes of these change in trend windows.
I think
and
that's...
obviously the stock market is working up into a good extreme here with this big rally. So.
Well, I haven't finished my analysis for today, but...
Okay.
As of right now, it looks like we're going to be saying the same thing. Norm, thanks ever so much, and we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.